Yes, sir. There it is. Deb,
Hmm.
what's going on?
Hey,
You want to do
hey.
your life story or no?
My life story.
Yeah. It's a
Uh,
Legendary People podcast. So we bring people on that's got cool stories to tell, and people can become inspired by the things that they do
mm,
and see that they can do it too. And no matter where you at, you know what I'm saying? Because people don't. For example, if you ask somebody that's doing a thing and you start celebrating them, telling them how great they are, normally the people on this show always say, I'm still a work in progress. I'm still growing and becoming what I'm going to ultimately be. All right. So, with that being said, as far as you, where'd you grow up at?
I grew up on the west side of Dayton. Born and raised in Dayton, Ohio.
Mm.
So when I say the west side, I am talking. My earlier years would be like McCall and Ethel area,
Mm-hmm.
and then Arlington Courts, and then later in like my later teens was Residence Park area, and then
So, what elementary school did you go to?
I went to Van Cleve Elementary.
Did you?
I did.
Okay. So Van Cleve, that got taken away and then came back. Did you go there when it came back?
Did it come back? I don't remember it
I
coming
think
back.
it came back like even when I was like down Main Street. Van Cleve ended up
Now they
coming back a
knocked it
little bit.
down, and it hasn't been back since, as far as I know.
But it was there in the 2000s though, right? In like the like
They put
2006,
like a
7.
garden there now or
It's a
something.
garden there now, but Van Cleve popped back up when I had a store on Main and Bond. I think I might be tripping, but I think.
Maybe I don't
So,
want to.
growing up in elementary, did you live with your mom and your dad or no?
I live with my mother. I live with my mother and my grandmother.
Did you?
So yes.
So, what about your dad?
I have a father, and at that time he just did not stay with us. Him and my mother wasn't together. They had separated when I was like 5 years old.
Okay.
So they was together when, from their younger teen years to, you know, after they got older, started having children. When I was about 5, that's when they separated, and
Hmm.
then
So, do you feel like that did that change your perspective on what a father should be, or did it like how did your mother talk about your father? Did she give him respect, or was she
well,
angry with
she
him?
didn't disrespect him. She didn't do. That's one thing I can't say about my mom. My mom, she didn't. Anything I felt about my dad, I grew. My mother didn't say anything negative about my dad. We just pretty much seen with our own eyes. We seen how hard my mom was working. It was times when my mom, we would call our dad and ask him for certain things. His response was how we, being that we knew he wasn't doing anything anyway. So, you know,
Mm.
um, I,
How'd your dad grow up? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know. He wasn't much of a father to share much with me about his childhood or anything. He said his dad wasn't there. Um,
He said that.
he told me that. No, he didn't. My mother told me that, trying to excuse why he wasn't a good father. She told me as far as his father not being around and things. But
What do you think a good father is?
I think um, you know, I've never had one, so this is just, I think a good father is
What does a good father look like? What's what's
what a good father
what's
looks
the
like to
first attribute
me.
of a good father?
What a
The
good father looks
characteristic.
like to me is not only just a caretaker. A father is someone that spends time. A father, would check up on, check on your homework, pick you up from school, make sure you ate, just different little things, just doing like the things that we give moms, or like that's the mom job. Mom's supposed to be doing that. I think a good father does just as much as the mother does.
Do
when
you
it comes.
think, as far as a father is concerned, do you think if you had to rank the importance, would providing come first or would spending time come first? If you had to say, do these things in order, provide and spend time, or would you say spend time and then provide?
I would say spend time.
Spend time comes before providing?
As far as for my dad, for my father, being that my father wasn't providing anyway, at the very least,
Well, I'm
spend
saying if
time.
you was crafting a father, if
If
you
I
was
was,
making a father, what attributes would you put in him first? And he was gonna be a part of this household. If your father lives there and your mother lives there, and the child is getting both balance from both parents, would you consider spending time more important or providing more important?
I'm a Cancer, so stability is very important to me. So definitely providing. However, providing is important.
Mm-hmm.
Providing is important. Um, but you have to be there to provide.
Hmm. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I think that it's tough on moms and it's tough on dads, and that's the magic of them coming together to make the children become as balanced as possible.
My thing with that is it's tough on moms and it's tough on dads. But the thing is, for some moms, a lot of us moms, I'm just speaking on us as a whole, we don't get the option of providing or time. It's both. We have to provide, and we have to not only provide what our children need, we have to provide time. And a lot of some fathers justify as that reason is why they're not a good father or why they're not a father at all because they're providing or trying to provide or half-ass providing or
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case may be. But most mothers, we don't have that option of, um, you know, not doing, and
Mothers have to do it all
we have to do it all.
because
We
they're
have to do it
they're
all.
there with the children. So let me ask you this: if a man comes into your life and he lies to you and promise you that he's going to be there forever, but then as soon as an argument happens, he runs off and then just leaves, even if it's for a night or forever, and he leaves you with that child, and you have to do all the responsibility that you both made a commitment to do. Out of 10 mothers, how many of them start to resent the child? Out of 10 mothers, how many resent their children because the fathers didn't hold up their end of the bargain?
I can't speak on that. Probably it's probably say 50-50.
So like
I probably
50.
say 5 out of 10 mothers, um, and that's just me throwing it out there because I would see more resentment towards the
The father.
father. you
Because the
know,
child is
the
innocent.
child is innocent, yeah.
The
But I
child is
can't speak
innocent
on other women, but I would see more resentment towards
towards the man.
father. Hmm.
Mm-hmm. What should be done to men who abandon their children? Do you think putting them in jail as part of this child support system is a good solution to?
I think putting them in jail is not solving anything. It just we reach. It really doesn't matter what's done. If they don't want to be a father, they're not going to be a father. Um, I think what
But
should be
is
done is that other men should hold other men accountable.
mm,
Because I think if more the homies and more friends hold their homies and other friends accountable. Like, because I call my friends on their shit all the time. You can't be no poor mom or, you can't be no poor dad around me and I'm not going to call you on your shit. Like, and so much goes on continuously because no, we don't hold each other accountable. And I think it's very important on all ends and all aspects for us as people to hold each other accountable. And I feel like if more men hold each other accountable, a lot of things probably would be, it wouldn't be so much of a problem like it is now.
so as a young baby girl you going to Van Cleve. What grade are you going to Van Cleve?
I went to Van Cleve kindergarten through kindergarten through 5th grade. In 6th grade, I went to Walkerman Elementary.
And what type of stuff did you like to do when you was a young lady like that?
In Van Cleve, well, when I was young, I was a girly. I was a girly tomboy. Like I was rough, like climb trees and run. But I like to paint my nails and put on dresses. And I probably change my outfit 5, 6 times. But as soon as I go outside, it's gonna get dirty, and my knees gonna be scraped up, and I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
So did nobody know what to do.
They didn't know how to approach you.
So, but I liked flute. I played the flute. I played the violin. In elementary, I was an honor student. I was a high honor student. I like.
And what happened at band camp?
Huh?
What happened at band camp?
Band can't be. No, math was for. I actually stopped once I got in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
I just wasn't interested in flute and violin no more. I was more interested in boys and weed.
Mm.
You know.
So coming into middle school, you start smoking weed?
I started smoking weed in middle school.
What year is this? This in the 90s? No, this in the 2000s.
In the 2000s, yeah.
And just weed. So how did you get introduced to weed?
Well, I lived in Anderson Course Projects, so even 8-year-olds were smoking weed. And it's sad to say, but it's true. And it was easy to get. And, we had cigarette men, where you could literally knock on the door and go buy some loose cigarettes as a kid. And you can go, buy weed and things like that. They didn't discriminate at all. And kids, it was bad. So I was first introduced to weed was actually from my brother. My mom smoked weed. She smoked a lot of weed. And we, being curious, was determined to learn how to smoke. And,
and where are you going to school? And this is in what school? What junior high school were you at?
I went to McFarland Middle School. I went to every middle school. And
did you? Which one did you like the best?
I went to every middle school and damn near day, and to the point they ended up kicking me out, and they end up sending
for being high.
Huh?
For being high.
I was skipping and fighting, and I wasn't a bully or anything, but you can't fuck with me. You feel me? But it is, I was pretty much to myself and things like that. Skipping school, and once I got to middle school, I don't know. I just didn't care for school, I would say, at that point in my life.
Did you have anybody that was there to try to redirect your focus back to school, though?
No.
No? Mm-mm. What was your mom saying?
My mom was, working and, life be lifing. So she had other things. Not saying her children wasn't important, but like you was talking about, what's more important, providing or being there? That may have been a time that being there may have been more important than.
No, providing.
You feel me? But at that time, we kids need, you got to work.
So how many brothers and sisters do you
I have? My mom had 4 children. My dad, I have a total of 7 siblings. My mother has 4. So.
And so, did your mom know? Did she realize that you was getting high and fighting and being out of school a lot?
Excuse me. By the time she realized, because I was I was sneaky, so because I really didn't get into trouble. By the time when I started getting into trouble, and by the time she realized what was going on, I was already,
lit.
In too deep.
Yeah.
Like what, but
So, all right. So, with you being somebody that was just kind of like not interested in school that much, how did you look at other people who were interested in school?
I didn't. I didn't.
So, for example, I'm gonna ask you, like, what about a young man? Was you into boys?
Mm-hmm.
So, what about a young man that was on honor roll and went to school every day? Would you find him attractive, or would you find him to be corny?
In middle school?
Middle school.
In middle school,
somebody that answers every question.
In middle, and I'm gonna be honest. In middle school, I actually wasn't
444.
444. I wasn't dating middle school
You was
That's
what?
that.
You
That's
wasn't dating?
I wasn't dating boys in middle school. That's probably why I wasn't interested in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
So I found all at that time all boys my age or in middle school corny. And I was really uninterested dating, and I was
Was you
attracted to more of
dating
the high
older?
school
Was
boys
you,
or the older 18, 19, 20 year olds or the high schoolers, like
and
uh,
even as so you were in middle school
I'm in
and
middle
you are
school.
kind of like dating up with guys that are older. Now,
Hmm.
older guys is looking for sex. Were they looking for sex from you as a young girl like that?
My first so-called relationship, what I thought was a relationship, I was 13 and he was 19. So, and shortly after, I got pregnant at 14 with his child and had a son at 15. So, yeah,
So let me
sex
ask
was.
you this. Do you think that a 19-year-old kid could have a true loving relationship with a 14-year-old?
Absolutely not.
Did how long were you
At
guys
14, you couldn't tell me that.
how long were y'all together?
We was together a year.
So he was with you for a year.
Hmm.
A whole year?
Hmm.
When the baby was born, was he there?
Nope, up till I got pregnant.
He was there with you until you got pregnant. But before you got pregnant, how often were y'all seeing each other? Was it an everyday thing?
It was often, yeah, every
Did y'all
day.
talk on the phone a lot?
Mhm. Well, phones, I pretty, because it was minutes back then, took minutes and all that other stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
he was, I was in Residence Park, and he was Crown Point area, so I would go over there every day.
So it wasn't like was it a relationship like he just come through when he wanna have
No, we
sex
kicked
with
it.
you and then
You feel
drop you
me? We
off?
kicked it. That was my boyfriend, or
He was your real
yeah,
boyfriend.
he definitely, or made me believe like it was my boyfriend. Like
Yeah,
I would
y'all
go
was
over there.
together.
We was,
It
yeah.
was more than just sex. Y'all would
Hmm.
actually spend time together and y'all would kick it and talk about stuff and just do what boyfriend and girlfriends do, right?
Hmm. He was
So
buying me things. Mind you, I'm a
right,
little kid from Arlington Court, so
right.
around this time he was, selling drugs and things, and my mom, I'm, a little kid from Arlington Court, so he's buying me at this time. Melissa's was hot, buying me all the different color Melissa's, buying me shoes, and just
Mhm.
doing different things that my father wasn't around, so he wasn't doing these things. And not that my mother didn't want to do these things, she just, you feel me, couldn't. She had so many other
Did your
children.
mom know how old he was?
My mom, like I said, when my mom found out about a lot of things, it was too late.
But no, she eventually found out who the father of your child was.
When my mother found out who the father of my child was, my son was 5 years old.
What?
Hmm.
Because you hid it from her?
I just pretty much never told her exactly who it was.
Well, was she asking?
She asked.
And what did you say?
I told her she didn't know who it was, and she didn't. And.
I know that, but did she press you about it? Was she overly concerned about it?
She
Did she?
quit questioning me after a while. Like, I guess it just didn't matter.
Why didn't you tell her?
Maybe because he was 19 and I was, you feel me?
All right, so you guys had stopped being in this relationship. The dynamics of how you guys were together changed once the baby came. But did he still participate in raising your son? He just was nowhere to be found.
No, no, no.
Was he afraid that he was going to end up getting in some kind of legal trouble?
If that was the case, like I said, I don't even think that was the case. I don't even think that was the case. I just think he did not want to be a father
Hmm.
because he has other children my son's age. My son, a crazy story, my son actually was going to school with his brothers. He has two brothers his age. At this time they was going to Wagaman Middle School, so he had two brothers his age, 1 year apart. um, and he didn't find out he was going to school with his brothers until they was graduating, going to high school. His auntie called me like, telling me the boys go there. When I post his little pictures and things on social media. Like his brother's been going there. So my son, he's like, yeah, we was in the same class. We played football together. So, but he's never been, not just in my son's life, but in his other son's life. His aunt has tried to be around,
So we talking early 2000s, Arlington Court. Do you remember Gold for Your Mouth around that time?
I remember Go For Your Mouth when it opened the blue store right across the street from AMPM.
So did you know Lil Urban Blackjack?
I remember them, yeah.
You know Lotta?
I remember Lotta.
You remember Lotta and the whole hooligan and that whole clique,
I remember
the
all of
ACGs?
Yeah.
So right around the time when you were there, I was right down the street, Gold For Your Mouth, getting it going.
I remember all of that. I remember everybody with the golds.
Yeah. Dang, that's crazy. Small world, man, how things come full circle. So, all right. So once you, you had your son, right? Son came, you like, man, look, dude ain't around, but I'm still going to do my thing. Man, as a young mother, 14, 15, with a son, and no disrespect to your mom at all, okay? But it seems like you had to kind of like focus and be the one that was going to really be there for your son without much help, or no?
My mother, she was help, and
Mom held it down with you.
she held it down in the beginning. She definitely did. As far as, I guess that's probably why she just quit stressing about she pretty much knew what it was, and up. But she did. So I did. Around the time, the first several years of my son's life, my mother was my baby father, So.
And your mom had already seen this happen kind of with you. Same thing. Like your mom, like, okay, look, sometimes guys don't do everything that they supposed to do. So she wasn't going to make you feel any worse about the situation. So she just stepped up.
Yeah, she stepped up. So I was working and things too. So with my family owned restaurants. In my mind, I already knew at a very young age that I wanted to run business. To all the women in my family, almost everybody in my family, that's what they did. They ran business, and from restaurants to even churches, and just different types of things. My uncles had car lots and things like that. And growing up from a very young age, I'm working, like literally toddler. I'm working, at the restaurant, peeling potatoes and learning how to cook, working. So I didn't actually start getting paid. That's why I tell people I've been working since 11 years old, because I didn't actually start getting paid to 11. Started made up my man, and my man, they had us believing that we about to take over the family restaurants, and this is what we about to do and things like that. I'm great with my hands. I can do anything with my hands. Like I can definitely manage restaurants. I can, so in my mind, I was cool on school anyway, because my family got things, so we already got a plan for me and all this other stuff. That plan folded. None of that happened. But being that I already had that, worker mentality. I'm from an era, I guess, being an 80s baby, 90 kid, from that work hard and work smart era,
Yeah.
So, I always made it work, made it happen. So even from working, after I had my son, I continued to work. Like 2 weeks after my 18th birthday, I moved out with my son, still working. And I'm going to, Southwestern, I believe at the time. Then Miami Jacob, still working, and just did it.
Yeah.
I just did it, got it done. It was what it was.
So, man, let's fast forward a little bit. So, you ended up deciding that you wanted to do your own thing as far as having your own business. Tell us a little bit about your business that you rocking right now.
So I have two businesses. This By Deb LLC. I've been in business for 6 years. I started that in September. I'm a 7 year. Started that in September 2016. I started just doing candles and beaded jewelry. So I'm not a fan of. I did that for a while, but making jewelry is. I'm not a fan of making jewelry. And so that's why I take my hats off to the jewelry makers, and I don't bicker about the prices or none of that. Like, because
Right.
I know, what it takes to make the jewelry. Like, but it seemed like it was too much time in making a piece and people not wanting to pay, definitely what they should have been paying for that piece. They look at your hard work and at that piece is they try to give you a price on your time and your
Right.
work.
Right.
And that was just, I couldn't do that. So I went more with the candles and, the soaps and, butters. I was doing butters for a while, still do hair oils, things like that, body scrubs. Have a variety of things. A lot of things are made to order now versus me. In the beginning, I was just making so much stuff, making sure I had all types of stuff stocked on shelf, and I'm just not a fan of sitting on my dollar now.
Right.
Like, so make a lot, keep a lot in stock of what sells, and anything else, like if it's online, I can get it made up in no time. But I've been doing that. I started that business pretty much, like I said, I wanted something different for my children. I wanted to break generational curses for my family. I wanted, to have a stepping stone for my children. Like, I know we don't have that. And black, and when I'm speaking on black people, I'm speaking on us as a whole. I noticed that a lot, not all, but a lot of black families, like when their loved ones transition, they don't leave shit behind. Like, you get debt and bills, and even if you get insurance money after you pay out the damn debt and after you pay for the funeral, you're still not left with nothing. And a lot of white or families or other races, period, when they transition, they leave their family stepping stones.
Yeah.
And we don't leave ours any. So my whole point is, even if I'm I have to struggle and work hard, or my whole point is to leave stepping stones for my children, leave something for my children, homes, business, stock, something for my children to start with, to build off of.
Right.
Like, I really wanted to, like they say, I started from the mud. I don't want my kids to start from the mud. I want to pick flowers from this garden I didn't plant.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm not, oh no, like, I started from the mud. I am not a fan of the mud, though I love the garden. No, I'm cool.
Yeah.
Like, and I just wanted something different for my children. I have a big family. I have 6 kids, so definitely had to work in. I have done every single thing. I used to be a welder. I used to be a press brake operator. I was just at Mancor making $25 an hour untaxed. Like, I'm from, I worked in a medical office for 8 years. Like, dang near anything you can think about, I have done, and I have done well. I excel at anything I do. But I knew working hours on end at a job, and then still after working hours and even doing all this overtime and stuff, feeling like I'm not getting,
Yo, just do.
Yes. So I knew that's one for me, and I didn't want that for my children.
Man. Yeah, man, that's what's up, man. Man, that's just a salute, man, for you to, man, overcome, man, and find that strength, man, to just step out there and do something for yourself. Because a lot of times, man, having your own business, it don't mean that you like in this thing to get rich, but it does mean that you have created a job for yourself. And that lessens the load on society to have to put you to work. And a lot of times, man, we just work to pay other people. And that's a part of like all people's journey.
One of the things in being in business, for yourself, though I do sacrifice sometimes a lot of time, but I do have, like when you said that comfort of providing and being there, like able to set my own schedule, not having to worry about calling off or losing my job, like when I need to be there and whatever I can.
Exactly.
And that's something that I love, that freedom, especially for me and my family.
Yeah. Well, man, we're going to come and do this again, but I did want to give you a chance just to chop it up on the good old Godcast one time. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Come and dig deep and talk more about your business, talk more about your story, and just keep building. Because here, man, I like to build on just all type of just life philosophy. One thing that I definitely am here to promote and just get out there is my book. You know, right down here in the corner of this screen is the cover of my book, and it's my life story. It's not my whole life story, but it's a significant part of my life. The rundown is I was named after a man that finessed, coerced, and menaced my mother into misrepresenting that he was my biological father. And he used control and intimidation in order to keep the lie going. And when he couldn't control her any longer, he shot and killed my mother while she was asleep. That's some like real weak ass nigga shit. You know, to kill a woman is terrible. Mm-hmm. You know, but to kill her while she sleep is even more just weak shit. But that's what happened with my mom. She got shot and killed while she was asleep. And he told everyone she committed suicide. And the police took his word for it, never arrested him. And my whole life, I thought that he was my dad. Until this year, in October, I took a DNA test and it revealed all the lies and the deceit. It's a true crime epic and a prime example of truth being stranger than fiction. Stolen from my father, named after my mother's murderer, the book of Ahava Elyon.
Like I told you, after reading your book, your story is similar to mine.
And
we'll talk about that another time, but yeah.
Well, one thing that I'm understanding is that, man, a lot of people have questions about who their father is. People have questions about who their family really is. And there's a lot of people that was straight out just adopted. Man, I got a lot of shit in my book, man. I researched my ancestry all the way back to the 1400s. And I was able to take my book down to Georgia, where my family is from. You know, my fourth great grandmother was married to the slave master. Okay. And if not married, they was in a relationship. They had 5 children. And the Biggs, my grandfather's last name is Biggs. My mother's last name was Biggs. And the Biggs family comes from England. And we got royalty in our family. Mm-hmm. I have a common ancestor with the Queen of Elizabeth. Some people say that's them RH
rolling
blood.
Over in her grave. No.
Probably. But it's real. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but she would be she's in no position to look at me any other way except for proud. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because, man, I do my best to represent myself very well. And that's all you can ask for any human being. You know, just represent yourself the best that you can. Represent yourself like you represent it for the Most High. And if you are rolling like that, despite your shortcomings, despite being distracted, anything else, you know what I'm saying? If you can at least recognize you did wrong and then try to snap back, fix it and get better, then anybody, they have to look at you with just at least a bit of respect. Mm-hmm. But my story is it's a story to be told. And I feel like my story has similarities with different books in the Bible, just on how the Most High deals with situations and how the Most High will fix a situation or reveal a situation, issue out punishments, give chance after chance after chance, but then you got to get stuff straightened out after a while. And I look for my book to be something that's read in the year 5000. And when you read it and when they read it, they say, dang, you know, this is how the Most High was handling situations back then. And then they look at their own lives and then they're able to tighten up. Tighten up, man. I mean, you can do that from any story, honestly, that somebody tells you. But the difference is they're not in print. the book of Ahava Elyon, like my whole vibe is all about like, man, this is a story that the Most High is behind as an illustration on what not to do.
Sometimes your story can even be motivation, like I said, or encouragement to others. I said how your story was similar to mine. It could be similar to somebody else. They could be feeling discouraged or stuck, or like they can't make it or not going to make it. But reading your story, like how his story similar to man's. He made it through, or he's making it. He's pushing through.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And these stories, man, you know, some of it, man, like when you read some of these tales that are in these sacred texts like the Quran or in the Bible and the Torah, you look at these stories like, man, did this really happen? Did this happen? Is this just a made up make-believe story? But I'm telling you, when you read this story about just some of the things in there, man, they're so mind-blowing that it's like, damn, is this real? But then I whip out the receipts. I got documents, I got court documents, I got filing, I got newspaper articles. I got everything in there to kind of like verify what I'm talking about in this book. Cause it's like sometimes it's like damn near goofy. Like some of the shit that I went through and the story is kind of like, it's goofy. It's like some Saturday Night Live stuff. You could do like a skit about some of this stuff and be like, this stuff is, it's just, it's dumb. Mm-hmm. It's dumb, you know, but it's also good and interesting as well. And it's motivating. It's a lot, man. It's everything. I think that you will get everything out of this book that you're looking for. And it's written in a little bit of larger font. It's easy to read. The chapters go by just like that. You know, I wrote this for people who don't read as much to kind of like help push it through for them. But for the people who love to read, it'll be a good read for you as well, because you like to read anyway. Mm-hmm. So, man, you know, I have some strategy in there in how I was presenting the book, how it looks, just a lot. You know, it's I like it. I love it. I want some more of it, man. I got more stuff to tell. I have a follow-up book, because this only goes to the, like when I'm 11 years old. I dip into a few of the other things that I did once I became grown, but I don't go to my story of being a business owner. Man, in April, this is my 24th year with a business. Mm-hmm. That's April this month.
Yeah, I remember. And so I remember when Go for Your Mouth was started around that time.
Yeah, 1999. And so like I never, I don't talk about just the starting of the business. And then even after my parents died, I had a whole period where I was not a business owner, and I was, man, living in different people's houses, sleeping on couches, hustling, trying my best to just make it, working jobs, quitting them. Like I had like another period where I was, you know, in between these two spaces. And so it's a lot more things to be told, you know. And so definitely can come with just different volumes of Stolen or the next book. And then it's prequels. Like I got a bunch of different angles in which I can take. So, man, Stolen, the book of
on film, make it into a
no doubt. Have you seen the film that I got? Oh yeah, I'll show it to you after this. We shot a 10-minute, just kind of like just a little mini movie of what it is. But the details are, I don't have enough details because I haven't shot all the scenes that I need to actually shoot to make it like hit hard as it possibly can. And like, it's only kind of like a demo to give to a big studio for them to say, okay, look, I'm seeing this concept a little bit. This is how we're going to do this.
Yeah, we want to see more.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm not getting so much into shooting it all, but I do need to shoot at least a few more scenes in order for it to be convincing how it can actually be. Because it is a story that should I feel like we could make a mini series out of it, but I think a lot of people feel like that about their stories. You know what I'm saying? But and
Make a
it's
mini
true.
series and be presented to Hulu and all of them. They
It
take it.
it is true. Like a lot of people can do have stories that you could make into movies, but the difference is like I'm actually doing it, and you can do it too. You know what I'm saying? But until you do, I got this little shit real quick. But that's it for tonight, man. We love everybody. Man, we're gonna be at the Columbus. I'm going to Columbus tomorrow and go to some kind of book signing
Right.
up there.
Y'all
So.
tap in and follow me. All
Man,
social
hold on,
media
Deb. Let me give it
platforms.
to you. Where we gonna find you at? What's your
On all
social?
social media platforms. That's at Goods by Deb. You can visit my website www.goodsbydeb.com. So tap
Yes,
in.
all right, y'all, man. Legendary people, legendary stories. It's lit for y'all, man. Shout out to my brother Peanut Johnson, B Nut, M Clem, and my bro Rhoda, and my brother Mr. Hood, man. Thank y'all, bros, for being a part of my book signing at the Schuster Center. It was major. We gonna step up and do something again. I'm gonna do something a little different though. Run it in kind of like a little TED Talk format. It's gonna be lit. Let people have an opportunity to ask more questions about the book. I think that's one of the things I've been hearing about the book signing was like they wanted to hear more about the book and more about just the podcast portion. To me was lit. It was a little too ratchet, but it was still cool. I'm gonna talk more about the book. But now that we sold more books, it'll give people opportunity to read it and they can come forward and ask questions about the book. You feel me? Because now, like at the first one, I know people hadn't really read the book. So for me to talk so much about the book, I didn't want to give away the plot or give away so much where I was like stealing the thunder of the experience of reading the book. So that's why we incorporated the podcast. But on the next one, I'll be able to take questions and answers. And my sister Kenyatta gave me an idea to let people submit questions beforehand, and I know I can just kind of talk about those subjects
Pull it up. Yeah, that's
in the TED Talk format. So, man, it's a lot more in store, man. We coming. I'm going on tour everywhere. It's lit. It's lit 100%, man. Check me out on Amazon. I got the ebook for $9, and I got the paperback book for $44.44. That's an angel number. When you get it, it's gonna give you stability every time you look at that price you paid. But the price is also a blessing, man. I figured something out for you, but you got to believe it in order for it to be true. All right, man. We love everybody. We'll see y'all next time.
Peace.
Legendary Feature.